Oh, he's back. Boogedy's back, you guys. So about a month ago, I made a video about Mr. Boogedy. I just forgot the name off the top of my head. I made a I made a video about Mr. Boogedy, which was a made-for-TV Disney movie from the mid-'80s, and everybody pretty much liked it, I think. And so I said at the end of that video that I was going to do another video in the near future about the sequel, because yeah, of course we need a sequel to this already bad movie. And that near future has come. I do want to preface this by saying that when I made the first video, I underestimated how much Disney would have systems in place to try to fight against fair use. And so the video that finally went up was actually, I think, my third attempt at trying to upload that video, because I had to keep taking it down and taking bits out and trying to upload it again until YouTube didn't try to block it in every single country. Mickey Mouse himself came to my front door and threatened to stab me with a spoon. So I'm obviously going to try to do what I do with every video. I'm only going to put in the clips that I feel are necessary for you to, understand my commentary and what I'm talking about and criticizing. But if this video ends up having a few lesser clips than the normal ones do, that's why. Also, I haven't seen this movie in like almost a month. Basically, I watched it right after I made the first video and have not touched it since, so this is going to be a terribly successful video because I am a terribly successful YouTuber. So we open up on this scene that's not an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark to show this character. He's telling kids about the events of the first movie, which I find really funny because it's all stuff that happened to the family, like while they were in their own house. I can only assume that gossip of like the crazy ghost family has now reached every corner of this tiny little town.
He couldn't get to Marion, the ghost of the beautiful widow Marion, whom he loved more than anything in this world.
I mean, he kidnapped her kid. He got all of them killed. It's not really a love language, but sure. Love. Meanwhile, the Davis family, the family from the first movie, if you remember, they all have a love of pranks. So, their uncle, or the kid's uncle, I think like the mom's brother, he comes into town. So instead of like greeting your relative that you haven't seen in a long time like a normal group of people would, they basically just set up this really elaborate prank where they all pretend to be dead, which is that's super hard, dude. That's super metal. Making your family member think that you're all living in the beyond.
Spiders!
Good God, is he okay? Hey, you know what would be really funny, guys? Kids, children, let's prank your uncle into almost having a heart attack, and then when he inevitably is sufficiently crapping his own pants, let's just crush him. It's just a prank, bro.
You rascal!
Good one, Dad!
And you guys, you little guys are supposed to be my buddy.
He takes it very well. I would definitely be less happy, but that's just me.
Boogedy, boogedy, boogedy. Every time I come see you, you pull one on me.
Hang on, every time he visits, they do this? How did he not know what was happening? Okay.
Boys, where's Uncle Elmer's coffee?
It's coming.
Oh, aren't you guys gonna join me?
Yeah, in a
Isn't
sec.
it pre-Uncle Elmer?
Oh, sure. It's
Just give him his coffee. Hasn't he been through enough? So at this point, it's established that there's some kind of annual fair going on that the family's going to be very involved in.
What is this, Lucy Fest?
It's the only carnival in the whole world with a super-duper supernatural third eye.
But meanwhile, the older sister is walking back home alone from I don't even know where, through the sketchy woods, and what does she see? But a apparently very informative and polite Mr. Boogedy.
It's Mr. Boogedy. Get out of my house.
Please get out of my house. So the uncle comes bearing an offer of a very important promotion.
They want to make you senior whoopee manager for the entire Gag City Eastern region.
Truly life-changing. But you know, the Davis family, they've got so much to look forward to in this house that they were all scarred for life in when they were mercilessly haunted by an evil spirit of an evil person. So really, faced with those two choices, whatever are they going to decide?
What happened, sweetheart?
It's Mr. Boogedy. I saw him. He's back.
Uh-huh, yeah, sure you did.
It was really him.
Was he real big and scary?
So none of the family believes Jennifer, which is really weird because that's exactly what happened the last time. And you would think after the first unprecedented haunting, they would just kind of be more prone to believing their kids when their kids were like, I saw a ghost in the woods. He was there. But they don't. They gaslight her like they did before.
Daddy, he was wearing his magic cloak and his pilgrim hat.
Honey, I'm sure it was someone else. Maybe the paper boy.
Because you know how the paper boy has been experimenting with pilgrim fashion, right?
In a pilgrim's hat.
Well, this is New England.
If you're from New England, go ahead and let me know in the comments, how many days a week do you wear a pilgrim hat? I know you all are obligated to wear it at least once every 10 days or so. That's what being from New England is all about. But just let me know how much you personally wear a pilgrim hat.
I love you. Okay, drive safe now.
He's leaving? Didn't he just get there? I just looked right into my own light, and now I'm blind. Jesus. So now we go to this town hall meeting where they're all arguing about where to have this fair, like it's the future of a nation.
The only carnival with a super duper supernatural third eye.
How has that not become a meme yet? How has that existed for like, what, 30 years now and not become like a GIF that we use all the time of just like 20 people just doing this and having like a third eye pin on their foreheads all at once? And then from there, the whole family goes together to see the new location of their new store.
Oh, look. It's a wax museum.
Ah. I don't care for wax museums.
Mr. Hamilton's House of Horrors.
What happened to Mr. Hamilton?
He disappeared one day without a trace.
I'll cut this out later if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that we ever find out what happened to Mr. Hamilton. So then this character shows up with a crystal ball that plugs into the wall.
A truck? With clowns trying to get out?
That's our truck.
Oh, I see. Then the clowns are already here.
Do you want some ice for that burn? And she tells them all that Mr. Boogedy is coming back, which is what the sister told them like 5 minutes ago, and they don't believe her, just like they don't believe the sister. What are you gonna do? So Jennifer's still dealing with Mr. Boogedy haunting her specifically, so she goes to get help from this character.
What are you doing?
Making ice cream. Would you like to try some? I'm working on some new flavors.
New flavors?
Spinach with crunchy bacon bits.
You know, I'm all set, thank you. And then they go to Mr. Lynch's shop and roast him over his shitty gags because they have such top quality gags.
5 years old, and I guess you know everything.
I'm not 5 years old.
Oh, you teenagers think you're so smart, don't you? I'm 36.
Hey guys, what's the matter?
Mr. Boogedy.
Boogedy again. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we have our own booth at the carnival? How does that sound?
These parents really do get the award for like least helpful movie parents I think I've ever seen. So because they've managed to gaslight Jennifer so well as a family, she starts to not even believe what she's been seeing and hearing herself this whole time. But then the boys wake up in the middle of the night and hear a weird sound and head back down to the basement like they did in the first movie. Then they find a very 80s secret door, and they get transported to a cemetery where they see Mr. Boogedy live in person. But then they wake up back in bed and try to explain this to the parents, and of course they still aren't helpful.
It was a dream, guys, just a dream.
Daddy, Corwin and Ari can't dream the same dream at the same time.
Honey, as you get older, you'll find that if you put your mind to it, nothing is impossible.
I found the key!
That's impossible.
So after some stellar logic from the dad, they find the key to the secret door. I keep doing this with my hand. I'm sorry if that annoys anybody out there. I'll probably keep doing it. So they find the key. Key doesn't work.
Yeah, guys, it's kind of like, I don't know, Elvis Presley. He's not coming back.
What a strange way to put that. So at the end of this very confusing, useless conversation, the parents decide to have a seance at their store during the carnival that they're putting on. This plot, it has more ADHD than I do. I swear to God. So meanwhile, Mr. Lynch is still being grumpy and decides that he's going to try to shut down the Davis family business because he is that mad about not being honorary mayor of a carnival that does not matter.
Why is it so foggy here?
Real talk though, that is way too much fog. So the kids go back to the cemetery to try to get answers on their own because, as we've established, their parents are not helpful. And then they run into this random guy.
I'm Lazarus. I dig graves. It's been here as long as the graveyard. Maybe longer.
Who's it of?
Who is it of? Come on, you know who it's of.
That's Mr. Boogedy.
Shh. The spirits are everywhere.
Do sit down. It's so dark in here.
So the seance, like most things in this movie, doesn't really matter at all. However, while the seance is going on, this very scientific electric shock thing happens that would most definitely kill both of these guys. But instead that just brings Boogedy back for some reason. I don't know. Science.
Louise, look at this. He completely wrecked my microphone.
Are you gonna beat him up?
Yeah, Dad. Let's punch his lights out.
We'll form a lynch mob. We'll lynch.
Uh-oh. What the fuck? I know a couple of you don't really like when I swear, but that joke is fucked up. I don't fuck with that joke. You may quote me on that. Holy shit.
Because he ruined my good microphone and practically electrocuted me. I'll blow up his store.
Ah yes, when someone ruins something that you own, so you threaten to blow up their store?
There's someone outside.
Okay, you guys stay here and protect the women.
Casual sexism. Add it to the yikes list. And now we're a little over halfway through the movie, and what do you know? The dad gets possessed by Mr. Boogedy. God, this movie's a ride. Oh, Jesus. And the dad just comes in and he's completely out of it and nobody seems to notice at all.
Nobody ever listens to me.
Poor Jennifer.
Daddy?
Just kidding.
This is fine. This is fine.
Mom, wake up.
Carl. Oh, Jennifer, what's going on?
Can you do that? Do you know which members of your family are there by just feeling their face?
Jennifer was worried about you, dear.
Why?
Boogedy.
Boogedy?
Boogedy. Boogedy.
Boogedy.
Boogedy. So Marion, the girl that Mr. Boogedy was in love with from the first movie, her dress that's hundreds of years old is now missing.
Look what I brought you. A great new costume. You can wear it at the carnival.
Oh, Carlton.
What does it say about this character that he's so annoying that he's literally possessed by a demon and nobody notices when he's this outwardly possessed? And then this happens.
Marion!
Carlton!
Come to me! Boogedy!
Why do they cut to reaction shots from the wax figures? Am I supposed to care what they think? So they call the psychic lady back because everything's just going full Beetlejuice ripoff at this point.
Forget it. He's not in the house. And unless he gets his cloak back, he can never return.
Okay, but he's possessed our dad. It's kind of the pressing issue right now. So they decide to keep an eye on the dad. The mom ties their feet together, but then also has a mask on, like, so that she can't see anything. None of that makes any sense to me. I don't know why any of that was the decisions that they made. And none of it works. He still gets away. He still gets up and does his ghost thing. And he manages to open up that 80s portal door again. And he pulls out the Mr. Boogedy cloak. Oh, and meanwhile, the uncle comes back in a gorilla suit, because he's choosing now, of all times, to try to get even for the numerous times he's been pranked. And also, Tom, the general store manager, he comes to confront the Davis family in the middle of the night. And all of this culminates in this scene that ends in the dad just not being possessed anymore. And then, like, he makes flowers grow all around the bedroom, which I guess is supposed to be, like, positive magic, but also, now you gotta get all those flowers down.
You helped exorcise Carl?
He did? I did?
Yeah, I still don't know how that happened. You really didn't explain that very well.
In fact, now that we have his cloak, we can get rid of it once and for all.
But Madalinska said you couldn't.
Madalinska. Madalinska's a fortune teller. What does she know?
I mean, she did repeatedly tell you that Mr. Boogedy was coming back and you didn't believe her. So they decide that they're gonna burn the cloak before Mr. Boogedy can get it, but lo and behold, it's missing. I wonder who has it.
So, this is the secret of your success, eh, Davis? Magic. I'll make you sorry that you and your family ever came to Lucifer Falls.
I'm kind of surprised they're not already sorry. You know how much stuff has happened to them since they moved there? So now we're at the day of the carnival. There's this very terrifying puppet.
Is this Santa?
No, this is the Spirit Master. What's your name?
Linda?
Well, Linda, who would you like to talk to?
Nobody.
That kid gets it. So in the middle of all this fun, Tom, the general store owner, who now has Mr. Boogedy's cloak, shows up and just ruins everybody's party.
Very clever, Davis. Very clever. How you use this magic cloak to weasel your way into Lucifer Falls and become mayor of Lucyfest.
So he accuses the dad of using a magic cloak to coerce everybody to letting him be the mayor of Lucyfest, which is hilarious to me that this guy thinks that you need special powers to be an honorary mayor of a small town carnival. If you actually had magical powers and that's what you used it for, oh my god, I'd be so disappointed.
This cloak will give me power. Nobody laughing at me behind my back. People will respect me. I'll have friends again.
Aw. Now I feel kind of bad for him. But then he gets possessed by Mr. Boogedy, and also Mr. Boogedy brings all the wax figures to life, which is 100% my nightmare. So while all the wax figures are running around creating chaos, he goes and brings the cloak to the statue of Mr. Boogedy. So now Mr. Boogedy is for real back, and Tom is just like, oh, frick, what did I do?
What do you want around here? What a
don't you leave us alone? Really, I'm all right. Don't worry.
At last I found you.
Don't talk to him, he's so horrible. I don't know why that line just makes me laugh. It's just like, I'm not worried about your safety or anything. He just really pisses me off. Then Mr. Boogedy thinks that the mom is Marion because she's wearing her dress, and they do a whole Bride of Frankenstein ripoff.
We must act quickly. The longer Mrs. Davis is gone, the harder it will be to get her back. Doesn't anyone know any ghosts?
God, I mean, I haven't talked to my ghost friends since college. So then the ghost of Jonathan comes back and tells them to use that key that they found, like, what feels like an eternity ago.
William Hanover!
What is this?
Why do you take of that woman? Am I not the real Marion?
So one, they're using a child as bait for ghosts. Two, I love that that ghost cannot recognize the person that he's supposed to be so in love with, other than the fact that she's wearing that one specific dress. So there's this very weird tug of war thing that goes on. And I think Mr. Boogedy goes to hell. And on that very dark note, skipping over all the trauma that all these characters will probably have to deal with for years to come, it's just a big happy ending for everybody. And thus concludes Bride of Boogedy, the Disney sequel that I really wish I did not know about. This movie was significantly less fun, I guess, than the first one, because the first one was just like really goofy and only like 40-something minutes long. This movie was an hour 45 and just, I mean, I knew the 80s were not known for their political correctness, but goddamn, guys, really? I really appreciate every single one of you for being here. I'm gonna wrap up this video so that I can go edit it and hopefully get it up on time. Here's hoping that the House of Mouse doesn't give me a lot of trouble this time around when it comes to actually uploading the video so that you can see it. I mean, I don't mean to question the authority of the great Mouse Man, but... Where did he go? Where? Oh. No, no, no!